Hey, what is up, phone dogs? Beau HD here. Hope you guys are doing well. I've been using the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip for the past 24 hours. It is my first foldable smartphone, and these are my thoughts. If you guys haven't watched my unboxing video, I do recommend you watch that before watching this one because I go more into depth with the specs and features. Yeah, I'm not gonna bore you with all the specs in this video. You can view all the specs down below in the description. What I will say about the design is that it definitely feels very well built, and the hinge feels strong enough to serve as a daily driver smartphone, opening and closing the hinge many times a day. Now, Samsung says that it's rated for 200,000 folds. So if the average person looks at their phone about 80 times per day, it will take about 6.5 years of daily usage before the phone mechanically stops working. That's actually not too bad. Now, obviously, if you use your phone more than that, you could shorten its lifespan, but 200,000 folds is, I think, very good for a Generation 1 device. With that said, the display on the exterior of the phone is so small that you will need to open up the phone basically anytime you want to interact with it, so you will be opening it frequently. And this does pose a problem when you only have one hand. You can open the phone with one hand. It's definitely doable, but as you can see, it's a little bit tricky because there's no real major indentations on the sides to help you jam your thumb in to help you actually fold open the display. Also, when you add in the slippery glass build, you know, the back is made of glass, and the fact that it is $1,400, it makes opening it with one hand just very anxiety inducing. So I would recommend adding like a D brand or a slick wraps skin to help add some texture on the back, or use the included Samsung case. What's a bit strange is that when the phone is open all of the way, the top portion of the display, it feels like it's bowed out ever so slightly away from you. So it just kind of gives off this weird feeling when you're actually like using the screen. It's something I mentioned in our unboxing video, but it's because the phone isn't actually completely flat like you would think it is at 180 degrees. Instead, it's bowed out at around, I would say, 185 degrees or so, as you can see when the display is flat against a table. And when the phone is closed all of the way, there is a very slight millimeter or two gap. That's not super noticeable, but it's worth mentioning. I also like when you actually flip the phone closed, it doesn't really like slam closed. Like there is definitely some noise, but it's nothing like too loud. So you can be fairly stealthy with your phone usage, which I think, again, is important. The display looks great, even though it doesn't have as high of a resolution as the Galaxy S20 or a 120 Hz refresh rate. The ultra thin glass that Samsung is marketing with this phone, it feels noticeably softer than real glass. So you just have to be extra careful with it. I wouldn't even try to like dig your fingernail into it. Not that like you would want to do that, but it feels definitely more prone to scratches. And you know, you've probably seen Jerry Rig Everything's video. He has shown that this is basically a plastic display that will pick up scratches and indents and scuffs very easily. So just watch out for that. Overall, the phone performs and it feels like a flagship phone. It runs fast thanks to the flagship CPU and the ample amount of RAM. The camera is also a flagship caliber camera, offering a main 12 megapixel camera sensor and 12 megapixel ultra wide sensor. You can capture some really nice shots. You're gonna miss out on some of the telephoto features of the S20 models, but honestly, I don't think that's gonna be a deal breaker for most people. It's certainly not for me. I like having an ultra wide and a very capable main camera sensor, both of which are found here. Battery life is also pretty decent. It lasts me about a full day. I'd say around 4, maybe 5 hours of screen on time, but it doesn't really provide too much more. So if you're a heavy user, you're probably gonna have to charge this twice a day. With that said, I'm really glad Samsung added wireless charging and reverse wireless charging, two features that I have actually used several times already. Jumping back to the software, there is a split screen multitasking feature that's nice to have, but it's not unique to this phone. You can run apps side by side on Samsung phones for ages, which I've only done a handful of times to test, mostly for these videos. I don't really use it in my day-to-day life. Now, I suppose the ability to display extra features in the camera app when the display is folded halfway open could be nice, Since the hinge is rigid, you can fold it halfway and use the phone body as a sort of tripod to take photos. That's actually gonna be pretty handy. Also, the ability to fit a 6.7-inch display in your pocket without taking up much more space than a wallet is also pretty neat. But I'm not entirely convinced that this form factor makes using my phone any better overall. I can't say that I've ever complained too much about the size of smartphones and them not being able to fit in my pockets. And also, requiring two hands to interact with this phone is not exactly convenient. The jury is still out, but to me, the Galaxy Fold actually makes more sense because it offers a bigger display on the outside to view notifications and text messages, something that you really can't do with this super small screen on the back here. And it opens up into a mini tablet to improve your productivity. So I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the Galaxy Z Flip in the comments down below. Do you agree with some of the things that I've mentioned? Why or why not? Let me know what you're thinking in the comment down below. I am definitely curious. As always, I'm Beau HD from PhoneDog.com. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you right back here in the next one. See ya.